Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another studio edition of the Unprofessional Breakdown. And my guest today, I wanted it to be special because I think he's a special dude. He's one of my good friends, one of my fucking best friends, and we're related because our families are from the same place in Puerto Rico. Naranjito, what's up? The one and only Fatboy Jiu-Jitsu, aka Juan Santiago. What's up, man?
Yo, what up? What up? Thank you for having me, dog. Thank you for having me at your house. You did scare the shit out of me with that dog of yours, that big ass pit bull. Yo, I got two little ass dogs. How you gonna put that big ass pit bull in front of me like that?
She's fucking friendly, man. And I was trolling you guys for like 8 years that I didn't like pit bulls. Well, we had pit bulls. I had a pit bull growing up. My uncle
We know
gave
that
me
shit.
before he passed away. So it was the longest troll, and it always got Rich upset, and I love that.
No, man, you really went hard in that. Those
I
pit
did.
bulls, yeah.
And semi-automatic weapons.
Do you have any semi-automatic weapons?
Nah, I don't have any weapons. I actually I want some guns. I just don't know which one would fit in my hands. Perfect.
And you got little ass hands, but
I do got little
a little
hands.
380 would work.
See, I want to shoot it. So
Let's go shooting.
I gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go with Rich, and I want to do like
Why
a
Rich?
scenario,
Whoa,
type
hold up.
like tactical type shit. That's what I want to do.
Okay, that's cool and all. But how about you like get a gun in your hand first?
Yeah, but you know, I fucking go in guns blazing. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, going deep is cool.
Yeah,
do that.
no just a tip, just straight.
It's just the altitude. The altitude.
Yo, so tell me about your jiu-jitsu journey. I mean, I know it, but the three people that listen to my shit, they don't know about Fatboy Jiu-Jitsu and his journey into jiu-jitsu and this MMA shit.
So crazy enough, I got into jiu-jitsu. I actually started watching the UFC when I or just MMA in general. With when I started working at the company I'm working for now, one of the guys that I was working with, he would watch him a lot and would invite me over. We'd go out and when we'd go out, like I would concentrate more on drinking than watching the fights. And eventually that started to change. And the one fight that I remember was Andre Arlovsky versus Fedor. Like leading up to Affliction fight. Yes. So leading up to that, like that's when I started really getting into what's his name? Andre. Andre, he was from Chicago. I'm from Chicago, you know. And so I was like, oh, cool. So I started really heavily watching him and whatnot. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And then The Ultimate Fighter, I was watching that. And there was a couple of guys that lost some weight and stuff. And I was like, man, that could be me. I could do that. So I found Gracie JiuJitsu downtown off of Mills.
Yeah.
And it's actually funny. I used to drive by my current instructor. I drove by his school every day to get to that school while I was going. And I didn't even know that. You know, where L is and Fred is. I would drive by legit. They were like 8 minutes from my job, and I would pass them to go to Gracie and didn't even know they were there. But so I started at Gracie and just started training jiu-jitsu with the idea to go into MMA. I wanted to be in the UFC. But it wasn't really that I wanted to fight or anything. I just looked at it as the way to get fit. A lot of things that I did was like I would look for cheating ways to get thin. To try to not be
like shortcuts.
Oh, I'm a shortcut.
You didn't want to put in the hard work.
Hell no.
You didn't want to put in the hard work, man.
No. Shortcut, baby. So I mean, if I wanted to look, if I could have like took a knife and just kind of like slice some shit off, slice off some ham and shit, like fry that shit on, like, oh, I definitely would have done that.
How much did you weigh when you first started doing jiu-jitsu?
So when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I was probably about 330. And then that fluctuated a lot. I probably gained and lost the same 60 pounds for a couple years. At my heaviest, I got up to probably about 385. And that was 385 only because that was the highest I actually measured.
Yeah.
There's a picture that I have with my purple belt at tan. that I took for the Oreo release, and that was probably my biggest. And honestly, I was probably pushing more 400. I might have even tipped 400. So yeah, I was a fucking pretty big dude. It's so crazy to me how big I was.
And look at you now, man.
I'm a little dude now.
You're a fucking
fucking
little guy.
oh,
But so all right, I've known you for a lot of years now. You know
mhm.
what I'm saying? And we vacationed together in Mexico and all that shit. You know, what made you stick to your fucking the keto, the diet? Like what made you say, you know what, this is fucking serious?
So when I started keto, and I know the date is June 28th, 2017. It was right before Isabella was born. My daughter, she's now 4 years old. Um, so it was right before her. She was coming in, and I was having a lot of problems. I would fall asleep, and I would, while sleeping, my legs would fall asleep. So I would have to kind of turn to my side, put a pillow in between my legs, just so my legs wouldn't go to sleep. That's obviously poor circulation, right? I actually had like a lot of discoloration at the bottom of my legs.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I mean, inches of dying probably. And Angel, he came at me one day, and he came not very aggressive in what he said, but he basically told me, "Listen, dude, if you don't change shit, some other dude is gonna walk Isabella down the aisle." And that right there is like, fuck, you my baby girl's not even here, and he's already telling me that
Yeah.
some other dude is gonna walk my daughter down the aisle if I don't change shit. So I was like, man, you know what? He's right. I had tried keto a couple times before, but let me tell you what, it's fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Switching your diet, and not even just saying keto, just switching your diet and I say, I'm not gonna do this. It's fucking hard. And if you stay with it though, you start learning shit about yourself. You're like, I can do this, I can do that. And then luckily for me, keto kind of was like a fucking cheat code because I did it 3 weeks in, I felt like shit the whole time. But about a month in, I started losing. I was like 30 pounds in the month. I was like, okay, once you start seeing success, it's easy to keep on going. It's when you don't see it that it's hard to keep on going. When you're trying to work and say, man, that's the hardest time. When you're eating and you feel like you should be seeing progress and you don't.
And that's what happened to you early on?
Oh yeah.
Like you felt like you couldn't see progress and
Well, a lot of times too, like I was always hungry. So I didn't learn, and I didn't even know this. I didn't learn there's a difference between stuffed and being satiated.
Hmm.
I didn't know the difference until I was like 35 years old.
What's the difference? For some, I don't know the fucking difference. What's
So
the difference?
I would eat until I couldn't absolutely move anymore, until
Okay.
my belly was bloated. That's when I would be like, oh, I'm good. I don't need any more food. Now it's like, oh, I can eat this, or just a little bit, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. There's a difference. Like
Yeah.
you're full. You're not stuffed. Like
It's like pacing yourself, right?
it's more so than that. You're like, I know I don't need to eat anymore. It's enough.
Yeah.
This is enough food for a grown ass man. I don't need to eat for 6.
Overeat, gluttony, whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly. And think about that. I didn't know the difference until I was 35 years old.
Shit, man. That's fucking. I didn't know the difference in that, but I'm a little guy, so I always watch how I eat and all that stuff.
I wonder. So I wonder how much it's a function of when you're growing up. You're like, you cannot get off your plate. You can't get off the table until you clear your plate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
In our culture.
in
at
our
least,
culture,
yeah.
and I'm not trying to pass blame. It's just this is how it is, right? So we think if we give you food, you got to eat it, and that's it. Grandmas are the same way, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. Your grandma would, hey, mijo, está gordo. Mira, big ass plate of rice and beans.
Oh, está flaco. Mira, comete algo.
Comete algo. And then it's always food. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
everything is food. So that's one thing I had to do. Like a lot of people sometimes they want to bring you something. They're happy for you. What they do, they bring you cake, they bring you donuts and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And you got when you're like 100% on, you gotta be like, you can't be afraid to say, I'm not gonna eat that. I had somebody who worked for me. She made me a cake one year for my birthday. And she was all excited because it was like her second time making a cake, and like everybody loved her first one. And she wanted to give me a piece, and I was like, "No, it's not gonna happen." I mean, this was when I was strict keto. This was November 2017, so I was 5 months in, and I was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it." And she got offended, and it's like, "Sorry, I fuck your feelings. I'm just not gonna do it."
And you just got to be real with them. Like, hey, man, I'm changing my lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you understand. If you don't, then I'll take the piece. I'll give it to my family. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But hopefully she understood. You know what I mean?
I hope so. I mean, I really don't give a shit. I mean, honestly, because you have to understand, it's not when you have something, you can't let anybody knock you off.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to be fucking laser beam focused, and it's easy. I mean, it's easy for myself to knock off.
Yeah. It's hard to be strict. It's hard to be strict because what temptations, right? Everybody around you is eating bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or if not, they make fun of you.
Well, and then we also live in a society where everything's like, "Hey, you did something well. You deserve to eat this.
Yeah, let's celebrate.
Let's celebrate."
Let's have a cheat day. But it also, like, it makes me think of like these guys that train every day.
Mm-hmm.
They train every day, right? They fucking train
Every
you
day.
train every goddamn day. You're in the gym, right? But there's no what I want to say? There's no gains.
Those results.
Well, you're not getting slimmer. Oh, you training every day? You're rolling
So-
for 8 hours a day. How come you're not getting slimmer? Because what do you do after you do that? Like after when you go home, like what do? You fucking get a cheeseburger on your way home? Like there's no results. Like, and I'm sorry if anybody gets offended. Actually, I'm not sorry. I take it back. I don't give a fuck. But that's the reality of that. When I'm getting in shape, like you can see the difference immediately. This is my body type, right? Like when you were fucking on your shit hardcore, we saw the results, and we can see the results because you often post the before and the after and the during and all that stuff. But there's people out there that fucking say this. They running 8 miles a day, and bro, like what? You're running 8 miles a day every single day, and you still look like that? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
And I can tell you that there was times where I was when Uriah was very young, where I would be on my chicken and broccoli all day long until about 9 o'clock, and sometimes it'd be like I'll sneak 2 little bowls of cereal.
2 little bowls?
2 little bowls.
Oh man,
maybe 3 sometimes, depending. If there's still milk, I gotta fill that fucker back up. Then shit, I gotta put some more milk. And I mean, that's what it was, man. It's fucking hard. But that's the mentality that I had, because it was like, oh, I worked hard today. I can get away with this.
Yeah.
And then so it might work for some people, but let me tell you, when you're morbidly obese, when you said I lost 170 pounds, right? You understand? I lost 170 pounds, and seriously, I'm still obese. My BMI is 31%. Technically, I'm obese. As you see me around, I'm fucking obese. How crazy is that? I've lost 170 pounds and I'm still obese. That's how big I was.
It's crazy how that right there, those results, because like he's obese.
Yeah.
Technically, right? Because of your height and what
your height and weight. Yep.
What is you're supposed to weigh and all that shit is crazy as fuck. But I do want to say we're all proud of you. We give you a hard time.
No, I know.
We give you a hard time, but every time I get
But
an
you know what?
opportunity-
if you guys didn't, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't be here right now. I mean, I'm telling you, man, I was having that problem sleeping, and it wasn't, I was on that. I was on blood pressure medicine. Like I was a ticking time bomb. Any day it would have been.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you fucking got on the right path, man.
Appreciate it.
But we are really proud of you, dog.
Thank you,
Like,
thank you.
like I said, we give you a hard time, but that's our group of friends. We just real like that. We all fuck with each other, but
No. Fat shaming works.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Fat shaming
Yeah.
works. It's most fat people have pretty thick skins. If you grew up fat, you kind of
or short. Look at me. That's why I don't get
yeah, that's
offended.
true.
That's why you guys try every fucking time. I
Every
don't get offended.
yeah. There's nothing we can say.
There's nothing. The other day, at the gym, they were talking about like knockouts and stuff like that, and then I was like, oh yeah, like me, like when I got knocked out, you know, like my mind was like all over the place. I kept, you know, saying the same things over and over again, you know, because I was out of it. It was like a flash knockout or whatever. And then afterwards, she goes, "Oh, I hope we didn't offend you." And I looked at him like, "Man, you can talk about my mama. I'm not gonna get offended." But they don't know my story.
Mhm.
They don't know how it was for me
It is
growing
what
up.
it is, right? Like
You
it
know what I'm saying?
happened.
So that's why like I don't give a fuck what people say. You know, I don't get offended. I don't give a shit. But let's segue to your fucking fat boy jujitsu gi, bro. Like,
Fatboy Jiu-Jitsu gi. So I got a new gi with Combat Night, and we are featuring this. This is the collab gi with the Josh Mann MMA Foundation.
how dope is
It's
that,
a,
man?
it's pretty legit. It's a pretty legit.
What
gi.
made you kind of? Because I know you collaborated before with Combat Night,
Mhm.
right? With the rash guards.
Yes.
Right, was the retro grappler.
Yep. The
Shout out
retro
to
grappler.
retro
Yes.
grappler.
The fat and worthy rash guard, baby.
Yeah. So that was pretty dope.
Mhm.
And then what made you say, okay, let's collab again with this gi? And I love the black and gold
The black
for
and gold
multiple
is
reasons. Shout out to my family, you know, ADR. But
Mhm.
anyways, the black and gold is dope, man. I like that.
so man. The black and gold. The black and gold came from 20. Oh shit, was it 29? Is 2019 or last year's Worlds? I'm bro. I'm so lost in years. Yeah, 2019 Worlds, right? It was canceled and it happened in Orlando, or was that the 2021?
Ma-
Fucking 2020.
Masters was last year, 2020, at
2020.
Kissimmee Silver
Kissimmee. Okay,
Spurs.
so
Yeah.
that one. So my previous gi, it was just a black gi and the minor, and
Yeah.
I wanted to do a black and gold setup, right? And it didn't come out as I wanted it. I just used a Cricut to kind of do some of the vinyl, and I looked at it and I was like, man, black and gold. I go, that shit could go hard. So, but it was an off colored gold. It was like a bronze gold,
Mm-hmm.
and this one it just took so long because this gold is like a metallic gold. Like it's a dope looking gold. It shines. It sparkles. But to get it in patches and material in the lining, it's very metallic, and it's so it's a little bit harder.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just a lot of we had to do a lot of playing with it and a lot of getting samples from the factory because some of the metallic wasn't what we wanted. It wasn't the look that we wanted.
Yeah.
Um, so that took some time. But the reason we went and did it with Combat Night does so much for local fighters. I wanted to make sure that they're represented in Gi Jiu-Jitsu.
That's dope. That's dope. And I like the plaid on the inside. That's you know, I remember when you were floating around with this idea like
Mhm.
a long time ago. And I was like, man, that's a pretty dope idea, you know, because there was a lot of big people in jiu-jitsu, you know, right? But I remember they would sign up to the gym. They could even wear a gi. So like the instructor would be like, okay, well, your goal is to lose this amount of weight.
Mhm.
And then that people would, you know, come in and do like no gi stuff. And then they would lose weight. And then, hey, congratulations, you can fit into a gi now. You know what I'm saying? So you came along and you fucking changed the game. And then there's others that came after you and said, oh, I could do that too, you know. So but that means that you're doing something right.
I am. I mean, I'd like to sing, and it wasn't, and it's not. It wasn't for anybody else but for me. 100%. I needed a gi.
Yeah.
I was sick and tired of buying two fucking gis. I would buy two gis to make one gi.
Really?
I would have to buy a Atama pants because the Atama had an A6 pair. They used to. I don't know if they have them anymore. But they had an A6 pair, and I would buy somebody else's gi just for the top, because the top would be kind of all right and it would kind of close, but I'd have to fucking get tailors to trim everything. So a gi that I would have to pay back in the day 150. So I'm buying two gis, and then I'm paying a seamstress. Bro, I was
Yeah.
in $300 for
Yeah.
just to fucking train.
Ugh. On top of the membership fees.
On top of everything else, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that's just one gi, right?
Yeah. And then if you
so
wanted to
have-
compete, you got to buy a whole new fucking gi.
Well, here was the other thing. If I can, if you can buy white, that's fine. But if you buy blue pants and then this, you're not competing in that. So that's you can't match. In IBJJF you can't mismatch gis.
Yeah.
So you really focus in and trying to match things and stuff. And it was hard shit. So I said, you know what? Let's try to make some. Let's see. And that took some time because it's not. I learned that sizing shit. It's not easy. And then on top of that, you got the problem where we deal in inches and everybody else likes to do the metric system.
Yeah.
So, so you gotta learn that really fast.
I feel you though, because look at me, I'm small.
Mhm.
I don't want to buy extra large kids pants. I do sometimes though. Daniela gets mad at me. I'm like, yo, let's check the kids section. I'm not gonna fucking do that. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. So I feel you, bro. Fucking A0.
You go to Oshkosh Bagosh still?
A Baby Gap.
Baby Gap? Okay.
Damn, we fucking old.
H&M, baby H&M.
Okay, that's a new
the
new
baby
joke.
H&M,
Yeah, back in the day with Baby Gap,
Yeah.
But so where if somebody wants to, if one of my listeners, if you're out there, they want to buy and they're big, much love to you. Where can they buy your gi?
FatboyBjj.com.
Okay, and they can find you on Instagram, right?
FatboyBjj. Fatboy, shit, I don't even know.
I think it's Fatboy JiuJitsu.
Fatboy JiuJitsu, maybe.
Yeah, I'll put it across.
And
The screen. Don't
well, here's the
worry.
thing. So one thing I learned is when I was starting Fatboy JiuJitsu that the minute you want to start something like that, you better have already taken your names. Because if you start a Facebook, page, if you don't have a lot of the other handles already taken, guess what? People start taking them and start holding them ransom. The minute you have something, so they can charge, so they can
fuckers.
Yeah, they beat you to it. So
Yeah.
it was overnight, and I was like, mother.
What I do want is for all of our kids to train together and just.
Oh,
fucking
that's gonna be great.
become,
They will. I mean, they have already.
Well, El has a plan that he's gonna make a hit squad. You know what I'm saying? So you know the Death Squad. Sorry, his own version of the Death Squad.
Hit squad
With Caden and Lily, Izzy, Uriah, maybe Leo, right? Maybe I know for sure Ralphie for sure.
Make him the best rooster weight ever, dog. Fuck them 10-time champions.
He's gonna be big. He's gonna be bigger than me though. He's gonna be a regular size adult. But yo, man, thanks for coming through to my studio, man. We're gonna chat again. Maybe I'll get another camera and set up a third person. That would be pretty fun, right?
Oh hell yeah! I mean, I could bring another camera. We need one.
Yeah. Cause then like after when you leave, I gotta set this up in my bedroom.
Oh,
Just kidding, y'all. Good night, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Unprofessional Breakdown, Combat Night, Retro Grappler, Fatboy JiuJitsu, all the
Combat
sponsors,
Night, baby.
All
Let's
the sponsors out there, and yeah, peace out. Como?